Hello, welcome to episode 20 of Real Talk. Episode 20, 2-0. This is a big one. 20 is a big milestone. Whenever I started out, I was like, who knows how long this will last. I personally knew that it would last a while just because I was going to hold myself to it. I'm not just going to let myself quit on something this early. It might turn into something along the way. It might transform, but it's going to stick around for a while. I really enjoy this. I really enjoy just talking to the camera. And it really helps me just kind of get my thoughts out into a place. It helps me really sit here and think about what I think about on a daily basis. And it helps me possibly help somebody. So this is fun. I've been really enjoying it. I hope you guys have been as well. But for episode 20, we're talking about finding mentors. Finding mentors is something that has helped me so much throughout my career. My young career, I wouldn't be here without some of the people that have helped me the most. And me even being in this office is a perfect example. This is not my office. This is the Drone Hub Media office that you guys have seen me post about. You've seen me post about the company there who I shoot all of my real estate work with. And they really gave me my first chance right away. And the owner of the company, Blake, I see him as a mentor. I see him as somebody that has built something from the ground up that started as just him. You know, right now, it's me and I have my buddy Pat. He's editing these. That's cool, you know. He's not necessarily an employee. He just helps me out. He's not like on full time or anything. But at some point, I would love to bring somebody on full time. Whenever the time's right, I would love to have somebody come into my office every day and work for me. That's what this space is. You know, Drone Hub has a team. They have a team that comes in. I was part of that team at first. I'm still part of the team. I just don't necessarily come in here every single day. Drone Hub has a team of 3 editors that come in each and every day. They have my brother who does all the business stuff. So this actually is desk right behind me. And then Blake, who shoots. He's the owner of the company. Me, who shoots. Ty, who shoots. And then they have a whole nother Canada office. So Drone Hub is a perfect example of just kind of like a mentorship as a whole. Quick backstory with how I got involved with the company. It's kind of crazy. I was a freshman in college and just trying to meet people in Chicago, trying to connect the dots, trying to get in some different doors in the city since I didn't necessarily have any kind of network. Whenever I moved here, I didn't know anyone. I didn't have a single friend in Chicago previously. I had to come and pretty much start from the ground up. Going to school was a nice part of it because it was kind of an easy guide to making friends. So I made a lot of good friends right away, but people in the industry, to meet them, I really had to go out of my way to make it happen. I had to go out of my way to actually find relationships that could help me and find these people that have done what I'm trying to do, find these people that are going to help push me in the right direction. And one of the first ones that I ever made was Blake. I was walking home from the gym freshman year with my roommate Jordan, and I saw this guy flying a drone on the side of the road. And it was the new Mavic 2 Pro at the time, and I hadn't seen it until that point. So I walked out to him. I was like, yo, is that the new Mavic? And he was like, yep, this is it. And I was just talking to him, asking him what he did. And he told me that he owned a real estate video company. Showed me the page. The page was crazy, as some of you guys have probably seen. Some of the houses are absolutely nuts, and that's what I saw. I saw these amazing places. I saw this amazing work from a couple of guys that were just in Chicago, a couple of guys that were just starting out. They were further than I am now, but it was still a small company. They were still kind of finding their footing. And he said they were looking for another editor to come on. Whenever they were looking for another editor, I was like, this could be a nice part-time job for me. Who knows? Ended up getting his contact information, and the next day I met him for a cup of coffee. We met for the cup of coffee, and I was just over prepared. I had no idea what it was going to look like. I had no idea what the interview was going to look like. I didn't even really know if it was a total interview. But I printed out my resume, which now if I was out there meeting somebody for coffee, I probably wouldn't have. And I honestly didn't have much of a resume back then. It probably showed that I wasn't doing much in the industry. But that's okay. I showed up with my resume, handed him a physical copy, talked to him for about 30 minutes. Actually, I believe I got him a cup of coffee, which I would recommend. Anything you can do to set yourself apart in a time like that is going to help you. For all I know, he could have met with 5 people that day. He could have met with so many people, grabbing coffee, trying to feel out who the next editor was going to be. But maybe I set myself apart by bringing in a resume, set myself apart by buying him a coffee. You never know. And I didn't even have any money back then to buy coffee or anything, I just felt it was right. It was how my parents raised me, and it was the right thing to do. So we got coffee that day. It went really well, and then I believe the next week I started editing for them. And I went into the office, and at the time it was me and another editor. It was Evan, and I learned so much from these guys. I learned so much, just like technical skills. Going into this job, I had no idea how to use After Effects. Sure enough, I know how to use After Effects now. My skill set wouldn't be where it is, especially with After Effects, if it wasn't for the Drone Hub team. And I'm super grateful for that. They've helped me a ton. They've helped me realize that I can make a living in this field, because between my freshman and sophomore year of college, I stayed the summer because they offered me a full-time position. That meant the world to me. That allowed me to realize that I could do this full-time. Who knew at the time that I could do my own thing? But it proved to me that I could at least do something. I could at least try and do what I think I can do. That means a lot. I wouldn't have been able to stay in Chicago for the summer because I wouldn't have been able to afford rent. But they gave me this opportunity, kind of took a risk on me, and it paid off. So Blake was like my first mentor that I had when I got to Chicago. But even going back further than that, whenever I was in Pittsburgh, I started getting into photography and started really picking up a camera, feeling out, realizing that I really enjoyed filming and I really enjoyed taking photos. And as a lot of you guys know, at the time I was playing baseball. Whenever I was playing baseball, that's all I knew. I knew the people in my baseball network, but it just so happened that the son of my head coach for my high school team did exactly that. He filmed. He was a videographer. He was a full-time videographer, photographer in Pittsburgh, and he was actually our assistant coach. He went by DJ Mills at the time. I know him by Mills. I think his Instagram is Mills Films now. He's out in LA full-time. But he was the first person that really, really showed me that you could do it, especially in Pittsburgh. That's all I knew at the time. For all I knew, I was going to go to school in Chicago and then come back to Pittsburgh. I didn't know that there was a chance that I'd be living in another city. I didn't know that I could even make a living anywhere. But he showed me that I could do it. He proved to me that it is completely doable. I just have to actually go for it. So Mills was my baseball coach, and he brought me on for some gigs while I was in high school. I had no experience. My entire experience was just going downtown and taking photos. I would just pop my drone up in random spots, take my camera on trips, but looking back on it, all my work was trash. But it wasn't about that then. It was about actually getting out there and using my camera. It was about learning my camera. It was about learning what's good, learning what's bad. And he brought me on different sets. He brought me on for a music video where I was a PA and just pretty much did whatever they needed me to do. He brought me on for a wrestling live stream where I was actually one of the main photographers for the event, which meant a lot to me. I was a PA and a photographer for the event. He took a risk on me. It paid off, you know. I did my best. I think I did a pretty good job. That was my first gig that I looked back on. I was like, dang, like this quality is where I want it to be. This quality is beautiful, you know. I still look back at those photos and I'm like, they're not perfect, but I did a damn good job with what I knew back then. And I was going to do whatever I could to make him realize that I was interested in this field. I would have done whatever I could to just make him realize that I was serious about it. You know, being a PA, you do anything. That's how you set yourself apart. You do anything you can to just get yourself in different doors. I met different people during that trip or during that gig that like I still am connected with to this day, you know? You get introduced to people, you get in these different rooms. Next thing you know, they're going to bring you on for the next gig. And then there was another wrestling event that I ended up helping with as well. You know, it was just one thing from another, and I credit that to Mills. I credit that to him for giving me the chance, for taking the risk on me because I didn't have a portfolio. I honestly wasn't even that good at what I did. You know, now if I go into a gig and I don't have a portfolio for that specific work, I still have proof that I'm good at what I do. Back then, I had no proof. There was nothing saying that I was good at it. There was nothing saying that I was going to be good at it. It was just him taking a risk on me, and I'm grateful for that. So we had Mills at first. We had Blake help me a ton in Chicago. But the one I mention all the time is John. And he's the one that's helped me so much take this next step into my career. He's the one that's pushed me to really do my own thing. He's pushed me to try and do something different. He's handed me gigs without asking for a percentage or anything. You know, the least selfish person I think I've ever met. It's a funny story about how I met him. I can't remember if I've told it on here before, but I DM'd him on Instagram, and I shot him a DM, and I didn't realize that I said this, but he tells this story so much. Usually every time me and him are somewhere and we're meeting somebody else for the first time, he'll tell this story that I sent him a DM, and I was like, hey, man, I love your work. I'd love to connect sometime, help you on a shoot. I can literally do anything you need me to, and if I can't, I'll figure it out. So I'm sure I was one of many photographers, especially young photographers, hitting him up to work. And for some reason, that DM worked. You know, he told me to come to this shoot that he was doing. I wasn't going to get paid, but we could at least meet. Show up to the shoot, and I meet up with him, whatever, really good dude. We start shooting around, shoot the restaurant in the lobby. It was a hotel. There's a restaurant, a hotel, and a rooftop bar. We were planning on shooting all three, as well as all the exteriors. And so we get there, shoot the restaurant, goes well. And then we talk to the front desk, and they're like, yo, like, you can't come in here. Or like, we don't have the spaces available for you to shoot today. Sorry. So, like, whatever. We were like, oh, it sucks, but, you know, not our fault. So we're like, all right, let's crank out the exteriors. Maybe something will change. Go outside, and I was shooting a hyperlapse on his camera. So if you don't know what that is, it's essentially a moving time lapse. So you take a shot, step forward, take a shot, step forward. And you do these for a really long time, and it has this really cool effect where everything's moving really fast around you, but you're tracked on a subject the entire time. So I was doing that on his camera, and he was flying the drone at the same time. So I'm doing it, going, looking good. He walks up to me. He's like, yo, I just crashed my drone. I was like, no way. So I finish my hyperlapse, walk over to where he thinks he crashed his drone, and sure enough, this thing was in shambles. I think like 25 pieces. This drone was destroyed. So this shoot is just going horribly, you know? And he probably felt bad about it, but it's just funny to look back on. And we ended up just going and grabbing pizza, and I got to know him decently that night. We got to know each other like as a person, which was probably more valuable than just shooting together. Who knows, if that shoot went perfectly, we might not be where we are as like friends right now, because it would have just been like a strictly business relationship. And so we went grab pizza. Next week, he actually was going to Hawaii to shoot for a hotel. And sure enough, he asked me to come with him. I paid for my own flight, but it was such a cool opportunity, especially just to make that relationship, to really set it in stone. We've been like best friends since. We've been so close ever since. And I'll probably tap into that on a whole another podcast, just that entire story with the Hawaii trip. But John then proceeded to just like keep helping me. He connected me with the Chicago Fire to shoot some events. I shot a kids event, edited it, and it went really well. Now I still shoot with them to this day. His company, Dula, they have brought me on for numerous projects. They have brought me on to help them out on pretty much anything that they need an extra hand. And to this day, I'm doing a lot of the shooting for them. Anything that they shoot, they usually give me the call to go out on site and do it. And I'm grateful for that. They've put me in these situations where maybe I wasn't necessarily comfortable, but they knew I was capable of it. I didn't necessarily know if I was capable of it, but they knew, which instills so much confidence in me. And him and Zach Dula, his business partner, they've been my mentors this entire way. Everything from creating my LLC to building some systems, figuring out how things actually work, how to start a business bank account, how to get my own domain. So instead of my email being joeypusateri.photography@gmail, it can be joey@joeypusateri.com. Things like that are so nice, and they've taught me endless things. And I'm just forever grateful for that. These mentors that I have, they just they're there, They're there whenever I have a question. And that's why you need a mentor. Not everything's going to run smoothly. Not everything is going to just perfectly blend into one another. You need these people backing you to help you. If I had a tip on how to find a mentor, my number one thing would just be reach out. Hit somebody up on Instagram. You never know. Try something different. I said I could do literally anything for John. Stood out for him. Hit somebody up that that might be an easier way to start. Hit somebody up that or that's a family friend, and they'll be more enticed to help you out than they will just a random person. Mentors are so nice. They can help you more than you would ever know. They help you in business, but they also can help you personally. John became such a good friend that whenever I was going through some personal stuff, he was there. We grabbed breakfast one day, and I literally was just telling him about everything that was going on in my life, and it's really nice. And having somebody that has been through a lot of this stuff to give you some advice in both business and personal goes a long way, because at the end of the day, everyone kind of goes through the same shit. Everyone struggles in the same ways, and having people that have been through this stuff will help a lot. I touched on just how everyone's been through the same stuff before in my last episode, and I can't just explain that enough. I can't say it enough, that having these people that believe in you, that back you in whatever you do, will go such a long way. So thank you so much for watching, guys. Get out there, find yourself a mentor. If you don't have one, hit somebody up. Send 5 DMs a day. You never know who's going to reply. Maybe next time you're on a shoot, really try and talk to somebody that's there. Maybe try and talk to another photographer. You never know how they can help you. You never know if they're really out there trying to make a difference. I'm doing this podcast to try and help people. I'm doing this podcast to try and help the younger me do something that they might not think they're necessarily capable of. So maybe this is your mentorship. I don't think I'm necessarily in a position to be a mentor right now, but I want to help. And I'm grateful that people have helped me in my journey, so I just want to pay it forward. So to Blake, Mills, John, if you're watching, thank you guys so much. I can't express it enough. I can't express how much it means to me, and I'm forever grateful for you guys. And you changed my life in a big way. You've allowed me to realize that I can do this. You allowed me to have the confidence in myself to take some big steps and take some big risks in my life. And if anyone's looking for a mentor, it can help a ton. I just can't promote it enough. So thank you guys for watching. I will see you in the next episode. And as you could tell, this one was near and dear to my heart. So I like these ones. I like whenever I get passionate about it. I like whenever I can really elaborate on a topic. And peace out. Thank you.